Hey Hart fans, Butch Hartman here. I'll put the poster over here. Butch Hartman here. I'm so glad you guys have joined me. Thank you so much for selecting this channel for your entertainment today. I really, really appreciate it. Hey, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'm also doing commissions now. If you want a custom drawing from me, click the link down in the description. Okay, today we are doing, Mr. Cameraman, what are we doing?
A Hunger Games simulator.
Right, that's what we're doing. A Hunger Games we are doing the Hunger Games simulator. This is the we need to echo the voice. Simulator. Exactly. We're doing a Hunger Games simulator, something that I've always wanted to do since about, an hour ago when we talked about it. So we're doing a Hunger Games simulator, and who wouldn't love a Hunger Games simulator? Something that's really hip, really now, really trendy, that's happening right now. When did the first Hunger Games movie come out?
I think it was 20
years ago, about 20 years ago. Yeah, it came out a long time ago. So the Hunger Games simulator, if I'm reading this correctly, you have yourself a magic laptop like I have right here, and you can input any characters you want into a Hunger Games type scenario. Am I correct?
You are correct, sir.
I am correct. I have District 1 all the way through District 12. And the characters, let me just tell you, I inserted a bunch of my very favorite characters into these districts, and they're going to compete against each other for survival. Okay, here we go. We're going to list these characters, and here's who you guys need to root for in the Hunger Games simulator. Who will live and who will not? Okay, here we go. So, District 1, you have the team of Danny Phantom and Sam Manson. District 1, move that over there. Okay, District 2. A very magical selection. We have Cosmo and Tinkerbell. That's right, Cosmo and Tinkerbell. Move them over here. District 3, we have Saitama, One Punch Man, and we have Daenerys Targaryen from Game of Thrones. District 3, put them over there. Okay, and then District 4, we have, of course, these are very obvious Butch Hartman characters. Theodore Roosevelt, Teddy Roosevelt, one of the U.S. presidents, and of course, he is teamed up, as always, with Queen Elizabeth I. Exactly. So, Teddy Roosevelt, Queen Elizabeth I, District 4. District 5, a minion. Aha! Bada, 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 bada. Aha! Beedo, beedo. A minion. And then we have, of course, Minion, of course, is teamed up with another cartoon character known as Jane Austen. Okay, so Jane Austen, Minion over here. Now we have, this is interesting, District 6 is a taxi and a literal pigeon. A pigeon, just a pigeon. A taxi and a pigeon. District 6. District 7, Ronald McDonald and Wendy from Wendy's, the food place. Yes, yummy. District 8, Keanu Reeves, who of course is teamed up with, it's very obvious, the Galapagos Islands. I mean, come on. Didn't you see that one coming? It's pretty obvious, Mr. Cameraman. We should have done it. Okay. And here's I love District 9. I love this. It should have been the characters from the movie District 9, actually. What were we thinking? We didn't even think of this. No.
No. What did we do?
District 9 is Dinkelberg. And, of course, Death. Of course, Death and Dinkelberg together in District 9. District 10 is my disembodied voice behind the camera.
What, me?
That's right. And you're teamed up with an iceberg. Perfectly. So we have Dinkelberg in 9 and Iceberg in 10. The Bergs are coming together. And District 11... this is too obvious. Why do you pair these up? It's like chocolate and vanilla. It's like, the Cthulhu and a ferret. Okay, of course they go together. Why wouldn't we think of that? So District 11's up there somewhere. And District 12, we have, of course, the Mayflower and the Marisa Fanglion the Great. That's a penguin.
Yep.
That's just the name we came up with? Is that what that is?
Hey, she is a very great person.
Okay, I'm sure. I didn't say she wasn't. I'm sure she's a fantastic person. I didn't know she was a penguin. I didn't know that.
Wow, Butch.
I know, I should have known that. Okay, so look, this is exciting already. 12 districts, Hunger Games, who's gonna win? Here we go. How do I do this now? What do I do? So, starting off, hitting proceed, drum roll. Very cool, here we go. Proceeding. Okay, here's the scenario. As the tribute stand on their podiums, the horn sounds. Jane Austen grabs a shovel. Keanu Reeves overpowers Cosmo, killing him. What? Sam Manson retrieves a trident from inside the cornucopia. Elizabeth I runs away from the cornucopia. Galapagos Islands runs away from the cornucopia. Wendy's and the Penguin and the Mayflower work together to get as many supplies as they can. Theodore Roosevelt takes a handful of throwing knives. Minion runs away from the cornucopia. This cornucopia is bad news. The guy behind the camera runs away from the cornucopia. You're running away. Okay, good. Saitama grabs a bag full of explosives. He wouldn't need that because he's Saitama. Iceberg runs away from the cornucopia. I'd like to see that. Let's see. Dinkelberg takes a sickle from inside the cornucopia. Danny Phantom runs away from the cornucopia. Tinkerbell breaks Ronald McDonald's nose for a basket of bread. But Ronald McDonald's nose is already red. She can't see any blood, so that's cool. Daenerys Targaryen removes a trident from inside the cornucopia. Cthulhu grabs a backpack, not realizing it is empty, stupid Cthulhu. A taxi and Death fight for a bag. Death gives up and retreats. The taxi overpowered Death. That's one big, tough taxi. Furret runs away from the cornucopia. A literal pigeon runs away from the cornucopia. Wait, so one person got killed, and that was Cosmo. Cosmo's dead.
Oh, no.
Cosmo's been killed. I'm sorry, Cosmo. Oh no, Philip. Okay, here we go. Going again. Wendy's receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. Ronald McDonald receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Wow. Oh, that's right, because in Hunger Games you get the food and stuff from sponsors. I forgot about that. Because again, the movie was like 85 years ago. Oh, Sam Manson steals from Galapagos Islands while she isn't looking. So apparently Galapagos Islands is a she. I didn't know this. A taxi, Death, and Cthulhu hunt for other tributes. Theodore Roosevelt bashes Furret's head against a rock several times. Oh, poor Furret. Keanu Reeves fishes. Whoa, I'm fishing. John Wick is fishing. Danny Phantom collects fruit from a tree. Marisa Fengelin the Great, the penguin, attempts to climb a tree but falls on Tinkerbell, killing them both. Minion stalks Daenerys Targaryen. A literal pigeon, Jane Austen, Dinkelberg, and Queen Elizabeth I in the Mayflower's camp while he is hunting. Saitama defeats the guy behind the camera in a fight but spares his life. You have been spared.
By Saitama?
By Saitama.
Oh my gosh.
And an iceberg is pricked by thorns while picking berries. Could the iceberg die of poisoning? I wonder. It says proceed again. Who's into this? You guys excited? I'm excited. Here we go. Oh wait, 4 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Here's an X. Cosmo, District 2. Furret, District 11. Marisa the Great, District 12. Tinkerbell, District 2. 4 people have kicked the bucket. All right, Queen Elizabeth I attempts to start a fire but is unsuccessful because she's got the giant Victorian gown on, that's why. Danny Phantom receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. He's gonna hatch them all because he's Danny Phantom. Cthulhu screams for help. That's what a Cthulhu would do. Ronald McDonald stays awake all night. See, Ronald McDonald drinks too much soda at McDonald's, that's why he's up all night. And Death tries to sing herself to sleep. Death, you can't sleep. There's no escape from you, Death. Jane Austen fends Minion and the pigeon and a taxi away from her fire. Get away from my fire. Theodore Roosevelt fends Wendy, Sam, Manson, and Keanu Reeves away from his fire. The Mayflower sets up camp for the night. Daenerys Targaryen taints Dinkelberg's food, killing him. He's Dinkle dead. Oh no. Saitama lets an iceberg into his shelter. It's going to get cold in there, Saitama, but you are One Punch Man. Galapagos Islands is awoken by nightmares. I mean, I can only imagine what an island dreams about. I mean, the scary things. The guy behind the camera goes to sleep. You're asleep. Ronald McDonald receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Ronald McDonald's got himself a explosive. Death discovers a river. Death. Wendy's attacks Saitama, but he manages to escape. Galapagos Islands, the guy behind the camera, Jane Austen, Daenerys Targaryen, and Queen Elizabeth I hunt for other tributes. An iceberg thinks about home. Sam Manson travels to higher ground. Theodore Roosevelt tries to spear a fish with a trident. I've tried that. It's tough, Theodore Roosevelt. Keanu Reeves searches for firewood. Whoa. Cthulhu questions his sanity. The Mayflower poisons a taxi's drink, but mistakes it for his own and dies. We've lost the Mayflower. How will the Pilgrims ever get to the New World now? What's going to happen? A literal pigeon scares the minion off. Beedo, beedo, beedo. Danny Phantom fishes. He's gonna catch them all because he's Danny Fisher. Okay. 2 cannon shots in the distance. Fallen tributes. Dinkelberg and the Mayflower. Night 2. Sam Manson tends to her wounds. Queen Elizabeth I passes out from exhaustion. Galapagos Island screams for help. Literal pigeon destroys Theodore Roosevelt's supplies while he's asleep. Stupid pigeons, I'm telling you. Angry birds. A taxi, Saitama, and Death track down and kill the Cthulhu. Well, that doesn't surprise me. The guy behind the camera, an iceberg, and Keanu Reeves discuss the games, what might happen in the morning.
Hey, Keanu Reeves, iceberg. What are you gonna do in the morning?
Whoa. Danny Phantom thinks about winning. Daenerys Targaryen cries herself to sleep. Minion throws a knife into Wendy's chest. Minion, what's the deal? Day 3, Queen Elizabeth I scares Danny Phantom off. Keanu Reeves searches for a water source. Theodore Roosevelt injures himself. Death explores the arena. Saitama, Sam Manson, Daenerys Targaryen, and Ronald McDonald hunt for other tributes. An iceberg attacks the minion, but he manages to escape. The guy behind the camera throws a knife into Galapagos Island's head. Dude, what's up with, why are you so mad at Galapagos Island? A taxi receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. A literal pigeon discovers a river. 4 cannon shots in the distance. Jane Austen, Cthulhu, Wendy's, and Galapagos Islands are dead. Night 3, Ronald McDonald tends to Daenerys Targaryen's wounds. Theodore Roosevelt, Keanu Reeves, Queen Elizabeth I, and a taxi each tell each other ghost stories lighten the mood. Shouldn't Danny Phantom be telling the ghost stories? Come on. Danny Phantom and Death huddle for warmth. That's kind of fitting. It's kind of fitting. The guy behind the camera kills Sam Manson as she tries to run. You just killed Sam Manson. I'm coming over there to... An iceberg is unable to start a fire and sleeps without warmth. It's an iceberg. You shouldn't even have a fire. Minion attempts to start a fire but it's unsuccessful. A literal pigeon receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Saitama is able to start a fire and sleeps without warmth. Day 4. Danny Phantom sprains his ankle while running away from Queen Elizabeth I. How fast can she really run with the big Victorian dress on? Daenerys Targaryen attacks the minion, but he manages to escape. This minion is a tough minion. Keanu Reeves receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. An iceberg receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. The guy behind the camera overhears a literal pigeon and Death talking in the distance. A taxi tries to sleep through the entire day. Theodore Roosevelt makes a wooden spear. Look out. Ronald McDonald stalks Saitama. Ronald McDonald is pretty powerful, you think about it. He's been around for a long time. And he can survive on McDonald's hamburgers, no problem. Like, doesn't even affect him at all. Okay, fallen tributes. 1 cannon shot for Sam Manson. How could you, guy behind the camera? How could you? Keanu Reeves, night 4. Keanu, iceberg, Daenerys, Queen Elizabeth. Keanu Reeves and iceberg survive. Oh wait. Keanu and iceberg fight Daenerys and Queen Elizabeth. Keanu and iceberg survive. The guy behind the camera cooks his food before putting his fire out. Saitama, Minion, Theodore Roosevelt, and a literal pigeon sleep in shifts. A taxi thinks about winning. Danny Phantom cries himself to sleep. Come on, Danny. Danny, come on. Ronald McDonald thinks about home. Death receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Who would give Death fresh food? I don't understand that one. Day 5, Theodore Roosevelt begs for Ronald McDonald to kill him. He reluctantly obliges, killing Theodore Roosevelt. Ronald McDonald has killed Theodore Roosevelt. The guy behind the camera bashes Keanu Reeves' head against a rock several times. Death searches for firewood. An iceberg catches Saitama off guard and does away with him. A literal pigeon receives an explosion from an unknown sponsor. Danny Phantom tries to spear fish with a trident. A taxi begs for Minion to kill him. He refuses, keeping Taxi alive. Oh, we lost 5. Daenerys is done. Queen Elizabeth is done. Theodore Roosevelt's done. Keanu's done. Saitama's done. Wow. Oh, now we're on night 5. The guy behind the camera, Death, and an iceberg sleep in shifts. A taxi destroys Danny Phantom's supplies while he's asleep. Minion cries himself to sleep. Ronald McDonald loses sight of where he is. A pigeon cries herself to sleep. The cornucopia is replenished with food, supplies, weapons, and members from the tribute's families. A taxi, Death, Minion, and the guy behind the camera team up to grab food, supplies, weapons, and memoirs. Ronald McDonald decides not to go to the feast. Danny Phantom steals a literal pigeon's memoirs. An iceberg decides not to go to the feast. Day 6. Guy behind the camera constructs a shack. Minion receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Ronald McDonald picks flowers. Danny Phantom goes hunting. Gonna hunt them all because he's dead. Okay. Death receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. A literal pigeon collects fruit from a tree. An iceberg defeats a taxi in a fight but spares his life. No cannon shots heard in the distance. This night has gone well. Proceeding. Night 6. That day went well. Now it's night. Death quietly hums. An iceberg tries to treat her infection. Ronald McDonald tries to sing himself to sleep. Danny Phantom dies of dysentery. Danny Phantom? Minion cooks his food before putting his fire out. A guy behind the camera and a literal pigeon sleep in shifts. A taxi tries to treat his infection. Day 7. Ronald McDonald makes a wooden spear. A literal pigeon thinks about home. Death attempts to climb a tree but falls on a taxi, killing them both. Minion travels to higher ground. The guy behind the camera collects fruit from a tree. An iceberg questions her sanity. Oh, an arena event. A tsunami rolls into the arena. Ronald McDonald survives. Minion fatally injures himself on debris. Minion. The guy behind the camera is swept away. An iceberg defeats a literal pigeon but throws her in the water to make sure she dies. Here's the fallen tributes. 7 of them. Ready? Danny Phantom. Danny Phantom. Death is gone. A taxi is gone. Minion's gone. The guy behind the camera is gone. You're gone!
What? But I'm here.
No, that's weird. That's why it's weird. That's why this is a weird thing. A literal pigeon. District 6 is gone. Night 7. 2 people left. Ronald McDonald severely slices an iceberg with a sword. The winner of the Butch Hartman Hunger Games annual. What is annual what? The Butch Hartman annual thing. The winner is Ronald McDonald from District 7. That Ronald McDonald, even with the big shoes. He's a wily guy. The big shoes, the red pants, I mean the yellow and the red. He doesn't blend into the jungle very well, but he can. He's always got food though in his pockets. So he could eat a lot. That's what happened. Probably had a Happy Meal in there. What comes in the Happy Meal, by the way? Just saying. Hey man, wow, very cool. Congratulations to Ronald McDonald, our big winner. I want to congratulate all the people that were in the Hunger Games. I don't remember all of them now, but you guys, I know Danny Phantom was there and Sam was there, and you guys are really, and Cosmo was there, and you guys all sacrificed yourselves so that Ronald could win. So thank you. Thank you for helping Ronald. Guy behind the camera, I'm sorry that you got taken out by a tsunami.
I mean, I kind of just ended up here, so...
Not too bad.
I mean, it's not awful.
We have snacks here. Did you guys like the Hunger Games simulator? Was it fun? What characters would you have put in here? And what characters should I put in here? Should we do it again? Hunger Games simulator, man, I thought, man, I didn't think Ronald was going to win. I thought, Ronald's good and everything. Ronald's a tough guy. Ronald can throw down, but seriously, I mean, that guy. Congrats to Ronald McDonald. What up? Mad respect. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, art gives you power. Use it wisely. Hey, Heart fans, subscribe here to keep up with me, Danny, Timmy, Dudley, Bunsen, and the NOOG Network, my new app full of cartoons, shows, and games. Download it here. Click over here to watch my most recent video, and here to start a playlist related to this video. Whoa, check out that awesome fan art. To be featured here, use hashtag HeartFanArt and tag me. I'm on every social media platform known to man. Cartoon Butch out. Pencil drop.